Today we're going to be exploring hard drives, and I'm talking about the traditional hard drives, HDDs, hard disk drives. I'm talking about WD Elements, WD Passport, you have Seagate products, Toshiba. We're going to talk about these external hard drives, how they work, and we're going to be looking at the actual technology, the engineering behind these hard disk drives, because they actually revolutionized and are responsible for some of the technology that we know and love today. And before we dive into the nitty and gritty of the video, I want to give you a really interesting fact. So the first ever HDD was created in 1956 by IBM in San Jose, California, and there they created the IBM 350 disk storage unit, and it was part of the larger IBM 305 RAMac. It was the size of two large refrigerators. We're talking about well over 2,000 pounds, and guess how much storage capacity it had? 5 megabytes. Okay, this WD Passport has 5 terabyte storage capacity on it, which means that this little guy has 1 million times more storage capacity than anything that the IBM 350 had. That is mind-blowing. And again, just to put it into perspective, the IBM 305 RAMac had to be moved with a forklift. This thing, even a toddler could probably hold 20 of these, right? So this is the amazing thing about technology, is the fact that across a time horizon, the software and hardware always improves. And speaking of software and hardware, we're now going to dive in and discuss how exactly these HDDs work. What is the technology? What is the engineering behind the hard disk drive? So without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, so what we're seeing here is an HDD. It's a hard disk drive, and this is very similar to the one you'd see if you'd smash your desktop computer open and go searching for the hard drive, or also what you would see in an external hard drive, such as a Seagate product or a Western Digital product. If you strip the outside enclosure, you would see something similar to this. So now let's talk about these different parts and how they create this beautiful little technology that we've been using for decades. So the disk that you're seeing here is referred to as a platter, and it's important to point out that these platters spin very fast, and data is stored on their surface as tiny magnetized regions. So we can think of an HDD as like a super fast magnetic record player, and if that's the case, then the platter is the actual record. And here we're seeing one circular disk, but there's actually several circular disks inside HDDs typically, and these platters, they spin very, very fast, and data is stored on their surfaces as tiny magnetized regions. So again, the platter is where the data is actually physically stored, and it's coated with a magnetic material. Tiny areas on this coating are magnetized to represent bits of information. As I've mentioned, most HDDs have multiple platters, and both sides of each platter actually can often be used for storage. The spindle right here is actually what holds the actual platters and spins them. So a motor turns this spindle at a constant speed. Commonly, it's actually thousands of revolutions per minute. It can go as high as 7,200 revolutions per minute in many consumer drives. Now, the faster the motor spins, that actually helps the drive reach the data sooner because the desired section of the platter passes under the actual head more quickly. So the spindle's job is actually quite simple, but it's critical. It has to keep the platters spinning smoothly and precisely. So this read-write head, we'll actually get to it a bit later, but this is the part that actually interacts with the magnetic data.
So the actuator is the mechanism that moves the read-write heads across the platter surfaces. It works somewhat like the tone arm mechanism on a record player, but much faster and far more precise. The actuator moves the heads inward or outward so they can access different circular tracks on the actual platter. Modern drives actually use a voice coil actuator, which is controlled electromagnetically. The actuator arm over here is the physical arm attached to the actuator, and at the end of the arm is the slider and read-write head. The actuator arm swings across the platter, positioning the head over the correct track, and a hard drive may have several arms stacked together, especially if there are multiple platters. The arms move together as a unit. Now the slider here is a tiny aerodynamic piece that holds the read-writer head. As the platter spins, it creates a very thin cushion of air. The slider rides on this cushion, allowing the read-write head to fly extremely close to the platter surface without touching it. So it doesn't actually touch during normal operation. The read-write head is the part that actually interacts with the magnetic data. If it were to actually touch the platter, it would scratch it and probably destroy the actual data. Now, when it's reading the data that's actually stored on the platter, it detects magnetic changes on the platter and converts them into electrical signals. When writing, it changes the magnetic orientation of tiny regions on the platter to store new data. The electronic controller is basically the circuit board and logic system that manages the actual HDD. It handles communication with the computer, controls the spindle motor, moves the actuator, manages the reading and writing, checks for errors, and keeps track of where data is stored. It translates between what the computer asks for, such as give me this file, and the physical actions needed inside the drive, such as move the head to this track and read these sectors. So basically, the electronic controller is the brain of the drive. Think of like the CPU in your laptop or desktop. So let's now actually take a look at what happens when you save a file on your computer. Your computer is actually telling the hard drive to write the data onto a specific physical location on the platters. Here's the really simplified step-by-step process. So first, there's a request. The computer sends the data you want to save to the drive's electronic controller, right? Think of it as the brains of the actual hard drive. And then the controller decides exactly which empty spots or sectors on the platter are available to store this information. The controller then commands the actuator to move the actuator arm, the arm that swings the read-write head over the specific track on the spinning platter where the data should actually go. Now, when we're talking about the actual writing or saving of the data, as the spindle spins the platter at high speeds, the read-write head actually creates tiny magnetic pulses. It changes the magnetic orientation of the microscopic grains on the platter's surface, effectively encoding your file as a series of ones and zeros. Then there is a confirmation that takes place. Once the write operation is complete, the controller confirms to the computer that the file has been successfully saved. If you're just saving an image, this entire process happens in a fraction of a second, which is why it feels instantaneous when you click save. So let's briefly talk about the top 3 manufacturers of HDDs. So the first and the largest is Western Digital, and they control about 42 to 43% of the HDD market. They're an American company and they're in the S&P 500. So is Seagate Technologies, which controls about 40 to 41% of the market. And then you have Toshiba, which controls about 17% of the market. So together, These three account for essentially the global HDD manufacturing market entirely, as they made up more than 95% of global HDD shipments in 2025, and that will likely happen this year, 2026, and beyond. It's also interesting to know how much Asia is involved in the manufacturing of these, because although these two are American companies, Toshiba is a Japanese company, you see that the actual assembly and the manufacturing of it occurs in Thailand, Malaysia, the Philippines, China, Singapore even. So we absolutely have to talk about what is happening with these companies on the stock market, because it's been absolutely insane. So if you take a look at Western Digital Corporation, over the past year, it is up 1,139%. Look at the 5-year chart. I mean, this looks so exponential. This is wild. Many believe, and me included, that probably this is a little bit of a bloated price. The PE ratio is getting way overblown at 43.55. That's pretty high for a company that just produces hard disk drives. But again, because of the AI boom, because of the massive data center demand, you're seeing these companies absolutely explode. Let's take a look at what's happening with Seagate. Seagate is also an almost $250 billion valuation company. Its PE ratio is even much higher than WD at over 100. And if you take a look, if you invested in Seagate exactly 1 year ago, you'd be sitting at 725% profits. And take a look at the 5-year chart with 1,164% profits. Before March of 2025, this stock wasn't really moving much at all. It was actually a very boring stock to hold for many years. And then boom, all this is thanks to AI and data center expansions.
So hopefully after watching this video, you understand a little bit more about how HDDs work, how these hard disk drives operate, and although the science and the engineering behind them, some are saying it's getting a little bit antiquated, and the SSDs and the new innovations that are coming down the pipeline will overtake them, they've been saying that for a long time now. They've been saying that these companies like Western Digital and Seagate, Toshiba, the ones that put in the efforts into these HDDs, that it's basically a profit graveyard, but clearly that's not the case, as I have shown you with the charts and what things are looking like, because of the whole artificial intelligence boom, because of all the need and demand for data storage within data centers. If this video does well, I will create a video on explaining how storage is used within a data center. Are they using HDDs, SSDs, something else? And I actually really want to make a video just covering the interesting facts around HDDs, because some of it is fascinating, in the sense that sometimes in larger units like this, they actually use helium instead of the gases that we're used to breathing. I want to explain why that is. I want to explain exactly how microscopic the technology is. And it's really fascinating stuff. I love to geek out over it. I've personally taken apart so many HDDs and actually highly recommend it. If you ever get one that completely breaks, and obviously there's no sensitive information that you're trying to retrieve, rather than throw it out, open it up and take a look at what it entails. And you'll gain more of an appreciation of how we make these mass scale and sell them for so cheap, and so many people have access to it. Because the amount of work and technology that goes into just creating something like this, I mean, this should be worth $500, but it's not. I'm able to buy one of these for just under $200. And with that being said, I also want to mention that I'm going to include some affiliate links for some products and HDDs that I've used over the years. So if you want to help out the channel, you can buy one of those. I get a little bit of commission from that. But aside from that, something that's extremely helpful to me is if you like the video, comment which type of tech topic you wish for me to cover next. And also, I'd highly appreciate if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing. It helps me a lot, and it helps the algorithm let you know when the next video drops. So with that being said, I appreciate all of you for dedicating a little bit of time to this somewhat dry, boring topic for most. But for me, I'm absolutely fascinated with this stuff. Technology has done a lot for me. I'm neck deep in the tech space, and I'll be making more of these to come, hopefully. But you need to motivate me by liking, commenting, subscribing. See you all, hopefully, in the next one.